This is Steve Bruce's The Cycling Greek. It is Tuesday morning on the 26th, I think, and I'm heading out for my first DH Dam Hill ride. This is a 45-minute at absolute max ride. It is a merciless, take no prisoners, give no quarter ride. I'm hoping just to hang on and not get dropped. That's going to be a tall order because there's a lot of horses out there. It's actually a two-part race. The first part, it ends with a KOM, top of a 1 mile climb. We do a quick regroup, and then we scoot on back, which includes a little climb before the sprint finish, and then we just all rush back to our homes and to our cars to get to work. See how it goes.
Each year, this ride starts in the first week of April. I usually wait till it's closer to May so I can bypass the need for any lights during the ride. I do use lights during the warm-up. Speaking of warm-up, it's very important on these type of rides, the kind that are just go from the gun, to have a good warm-up before you start this ride. If you don't put yourself in pain during the warm-up, you're going to be in pain during the ride and you'll have a chance of getting dropped. It is especially important for me since I'm an old guy. So I usually get there about 30 minutes ahead of time. I do some spinning and then I do some high cadence work. And then there's a little riser that I go to where I climb it in a huge gear just to activate those muscle cells that may not have been activated during my warm-up. The wind was not bad this morning. It was just strong enough where you recognize that you had to be toward the right flank of the person in front of you. This is the first DH ride of the season for me. This is slightly different character than the puke rides I did previously, in that it's shorter and many more stronger riders attend this one. Today we only had about 8 riders. Usually we'll have 12 to 20 riders out there. Today's smaller group is filled with strong riders, and the strongest of the group is the one right in front of me. We call the Big Kahuna. He is a very strong Cat 2 riding for Simple Green out of Los Angeles. And who's the weakest of the group? Well, that's the rider following the Big Kahuna. So far, we've been traveling usually around 24 to 26 miles an hour. Right now, another rider we call Superman, a 55 plus rider, is in the front and he's picking it up. So now we're up to 29. My wattage is starting to go into the 400s and my cadence is above 100. The only way I can handle this effort is to be exposed to this effort. Simply speaking, if you want to be fast, you have to train fast. Metaphorically, going from 0 to 60 with your training is one way to do it, but having and executing a good training plan will give you more depth, will get you to where you want to go quicker, and help to minimize the negative effects of any surprise gaps in your training. 55 plus category rider Superman is still in the front, laying down the speed in the watts. He's finally slowing down to 27 miles per hour. Now, I can handle all this without much of a problem at this point, and ordinarily I'd be fine for the rest of the ride. However, it's the Big Kahuna that I'm concerned about. It's about 45 seconds later, and Superman has since pulled off, and Big Corey has taken his pull. Now the Big Kahuna is in the front, and I'm doing everything that I can to survive this. I'm trying to relax my body, keep my hands in my drops, pay attention to my gearing and my cadence, and also the lactic acid I'm accumulating. When I start breathing harder due to a higher cadence and higher wattage, I'll shift it down a gear. After a while, when my legs start to get bogged down, I'll shift it up a gear and put the stress back on my aerobic system. In short, what I'm doing is riding the fine line between aerobic and anaerobic death. You'll notice in the graphic that while the speed is not what Superman was pulling at, we are on an ever so slight false flat, and the change in direction exposes us a little more to the wind. Even though I am doing all the right stuff, lactic acid is slowly accumulating in my muscles. Soon, very soon, they're not going to be able to keep up. And that looks to be right about now. As I said earlier, you got to train fast to be fast. A few more of these rides, not only will I be able to stay with this group, but I'll also be able to contend with the KOM at the end of this first half. With the KOM behind us, we are now on the way back. There must be a lot of tired legs in the group right now. We have a slight tailwind, but the speed is not where it can be. I'm leading the group up a very small climb, which is about halfway back to the finish. The high cadence that you see me using enables me to save my legs for later on. While I use cadence more and more, I don't use it all the time. I use the best cadence for the situation, for me. We are near the finish. We're going up another small climb that'll lead us to the major willow climb that leads to the finishing stretch. Now, I'm having a little bit of a dig here. While the others, they may not notice it too much, it's putting me under stress, so when I get to the top, I'll have to recover under stress to stay with these guys. This is a way of improving my form. While riding very fast wheels like I was doing at the first half of the race helps tremendously. If you want to accelerate gains, doing other things such as putting in attacks, or if you're at the back of a pack of a very strong group, going off about a bike length or two, then forcing yourself to go back into the pack, and then coming back off again and going back on, are excellent techniques that you can use. So right now we're starting to go up Willow Hill. What you didn't see was that we came to just about a complete stop because of traffic. So now we're basically sprinting up a hill from a dead start. Now this guy wants to get faster. He's putting an attack at the bottom. He's hoping to make it to the top before we do, or when we do, after which he'll have to recover under stress, huge stress, to be able to stay with us. This guy wants to get fast. While I'm slowly dieseling up to him, another rider has come by, a much younger and lighter rider, and he's gone ahead of me. I'm barely making it up to his wheel, and I'm able to stay connected. So what I did there is I put myself under stress rather than give up. So now I'm hanging on for dear life. By doing this, I am forcing my body to adapt by producing more power while I'm able to filter out more and more lactic acid that's being produced. When we got to the top, I was too tired to take over a pull, and so I hung on Ken's wheel a little while longer. With about a mile to go, I had another dig. What you're seeing on the right side is my shadow. What you're not seeing is that there's a rider that went with me, and the others are chasing about a bike length or two behind at this point. Watts near 500, cadence over 105. I know I'm not going to make it, but again, putting myself in stress so my body can adapt so I can get faster. Now, this effort lasted a little over a click, and then the others went by me as I started to slow. Rather than die out 100% and slow down to a crawl, I died out to about 98% and kept a little bit of power just in case they'd slow in front of me. And slow they did. However, it wasn't slow enough. I still tried to get to them, but couldn't quite do it. I hope you enjoyed the video. This is how you get faster. Remember, comment, like, subscribe. The Cycling Greek.